So this lesson, I kind of want to go and add these guys as list items instead. And I also want to make kind of a line down here. So when I scroll up and down, instead of expanding the view and making it larger in height, it's actually going to just hide whatever it can see behind this small panel down here with the new messages. So that's what we're going to do this lesson. Let's try and actually get into it. Now, step one is, of course, to start figuring out how we can convert these guys right here into list items. How do we do that? Well, let's see if there's anything called list inside the Angular material thing. Components, scroll down, and here we go. Here's a list. And there's a lot of basic things you can learn about lists, but the most important thing again is that we get that module into our code first. So I'll grab this matlist module right here. I'll go into my chat module and I'll add it right here. There we go. Matlist module, import it, sweet. Back to the code. Now we need to start adding these mat lists right here. And we start out by just making a list. So we'll just say mat list. Also, we'll add a mat list item right here, because of course we also need a list item for each item we are going to end up having. I'm going to add the NG4 to that mat list item, again because I want an item per chat message. Inside this one, I'll add a mat icon, just to kind of get some kind of icon into my setup right here. And this, I'm just going to call it face. I know there's a face icon out there. You can just go and find it yourself if you want to see it. And then I'm going to add a div right here, because there's actually something called mat line right here as a directive that we can use to explain that this is going to be a single line inside our list item right here. Again, you can see all of this in the example. First line here is going to be the sender. So let's just say chat message dot sender dot nickname. And again, if you want to avoid getting null reference exception, you can add the question mark. And that's pretty much just a null check saying, if there's a sender, I'll get the nickname. If there's not a sender, I'll just ignore this and don't put in anything at all. Let's make another line, because I also want the message in here, of course. So I'll do a chat message.message as well. There we go. Now we have both the lines available. So let's try and see how it actually looks right here. I'll just create a new last right here. I'll enter. And now notice there are some issues because I didn't want the icon here. I actually want the icon over here next to this guy. So let's try and see if we can fix that. Back to the code. I know why. There is actually a directive called mat list icon right here that I need to put in. Now what it's doing is it's going to place this face for me in the right position on the left side of the text. So let's try and save that and go back and refresh the page and log in again. I'm saying log in, but it's actually just hiding an if statement. So, but you can live with that. There we go. Now it looks like a list item. And again, there's some things I don't like. I want to maybe have lines in between. Now we can do that in a different way. I think the way they kind of expect us to do it is to have a mat divider. That's one of the things we have available. Mat divider. Let's try and add that here in the end. Now let's try and log in again. Let's just say last. I'll do a login, and notice it's actually there looking like a list with the lines and everything. It's pretty, but it's like I don't want to scroll the page like this. I want to keep this guy down here static and this guy right here static, and then scroll up and down with the list instead. So we're going to try and make the list the only thing that scrolls. Back to the code. Now the first thing I know I have to do is I need to explain to my content that is actually going to be a column layout. And again, the reason is that I want this guy, the list, to actually take up the full height. And again, remember, if I don't put this in here, automatically it'll think that this is going to be a row layout. That means it's going to take up full width. So I want it to take the full height. I'll do a column and I'll say fx flex. Now that should mean now we're taking the full height with this list. That's available, by the way. It's of course only going to be the height available after this is taken and this is taken down here. Good. The second thing I want to do is I want to give this guy a class, make scrollable. You can probably find a better name. Now I need to generate this selector right here inside our chat component SCSS. So I'll do a dot right here and there we go. And I'm going to just say overflow auto. That's all I have to do to kind of explain that if there comes something that's outside the size of the area we have available for this list, just make a scroller. Let's try and see if that works. Back in the code, I'll go in again, John right here, and I'll do a send. And now notice, oh my God, we have a scrolling view right here, and the page is still the same size. So there's no scroller here. There's a scroller here, that way you can kind of scroll your messages. Oh my God, it's looking so nice. I still have a few things I want to change, but let's just end this lesson. Now we have messages that is inside a list, and we can actually also scroll the list. That's actually pretty complex stuff we just did. So see you next time. Bye.